how do quality men choose women? And not choose women, but how do they choose a woman? The women. How does he decide whether he's a woman that he's just gonna have fun with, or whether this is the one that he wants to invest in long term and screw off every other woman? And is this something that he decides straight away, or is there a process to this selection that you can take advantage of and swing into your favor? Well, that's exactly what we're gonna go through today. Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Kit, your personal dating coach, and in today's video, I'm gonna go through exactly how quality men choose the woman that he wants to give everything to. Before we get into that, you know I always love hearing from you guys, so come find me on Instagram, drop me a message, maybe send me a question. Maybe I'll make a video on it. Now let's get into the video. There are three ways that guys see women, or rather, there are three categories that men put women in when they meet them when it comes to dating. The first one, a woman he wouldn't have anything with. The second, a woman he'd sleep with without serious investment. And the third, a woman he'd invest in long term. But what determines which category you go in? And if you go into one category, is it possible to shift into another one? They say that it takes 12 seconds for us to make an impression. I don't know why 12, I didn't make it up, but where we've made certain judgments on their vibe, whether we think they're attractive, whether we think they're confident or arrogant, charismatic, you name it. And when a guy meets a woman for the first time, within tenths of a second, he knows immediately whether she's in that first category or not. He knows whether he finds her physically attractive. And the thing is, this is something that you women do with guys as well, so it's easy to understand because this is pretty universal. Whether a guy is physically attracted to you or not, that is the first determining factor as to what kind of girl he sees you as. If he's physically not attracted to a girl, then she goes in the category of someone that he would never have anything with. Now, the thing is, he may actually become a colleague of this woman, he may become a friend to this woman, but if there's no physical chemistry there for him, then it's never gonna happen. Now, some people like to ask the question, okay, but he doesn't know me yet. You know, he doesn't really know who I am, what things I bring in my personality. So when he gets to know me, he might actually then want me. And the truth is, this really only happens from women to men. This really only happens when a woman may be undecided about a guy, finds out he's really cool, got a great character, and then she wants him. For men, it rarely happens the other way around. Because as you know, men are very visual creatures. I mean, 80% of porn is made for men. Like, yeah. That's also why you only hear the term love at first sight from men, especially in storytelling. Like, I'm convinced it is only men that have ever said this. Because if a man finds a woman so beautiful, so attractive, so physically irresistible, then that feeling of euphoria can literally feel like he's falling in love. Hence love at first sight. That is how visual men are. Like, you've ever had that friend, maybe a male friend of yours, where you get on so well, like you literally get on like a house on fire, you enjoy spending time together, you have a lot of fun, and you think, oh wow, like if I was physically attracted to you, this would definitely work. It's exactly the same for guys. He may love spending time with this woman, he may become really close to her on an emotional level, but if physically it's not there for him, then it's only ever gonna stay like that. Now, is it possible to change this? Is it possible to get out of the friend zone and get into the category of girlfriend with a guy that you really like? Yes, there is. And there's a couple of ways to turn the tide. And I go into extreme detail here so you know exactly what to do, but these are the major premises. The first step is you have to distance yourself from him, i.e. so it lets the friendship fizzle out. And the second step is that you have to allow enough time to have passed so that you have grown so much as people that when you do meet again, it's like a whole new first impression. And how much time? Realistically, at least a few years. Enough time has to have passed that you've both grown individually as people without inputting in each other's lives. So when you do meet, it's like, oh my gosh, who is this person? That's not who I remember. But this means that if he does find you attractive, this means that you go into either category 2 or 3. Either you are something casual or you're his next girlfriend. So at this point, what then decides which one he sees you as? What determines whether he's gonna take things seriously with you or not? The thing that determines this is how you date him. This is completely in your hands. How you date him over the first month or so is what determines whether he sees you as something casual or whether he sees you as girlfriend material. And this is the part that most women shoot themselves in the foot, because they've got a guy that is attracted to them because they really like them. They start dating them purely on impulse, not realizing that she's actually messaging to him, at least his subconscious, that this is a woman not to take seriously. Because a woman who is led by her sexual nature, not someone who focuses on the connection that they build, is one that he doesn't have to think about seriously. And it's really disheartening because a lot of modern women don't know how to date a man so that it turns into a boyfriend. Instead, it turns to a situationship. You know, when you're just seeing each other, you're seeing how things go, but you've been seeing each other for a certain amount of time now, you're afraid to ask the question, so what are we? Or maybe you have, but he doesn't really give you a straight answer. He kind of deflects. And then what happens? You get stuck in the friends with benefit zone, i.e. the category of someone that he can sleep with without having to make any real investment. There are a handful of deadly mistakes that a lot of women make early on that puts them in this category. So I've made a video going through exactly what those mistakes are and what you can do instead so you make the best impression possible. And I urge you to watch this because this is a trap that is so common in the dating market for women. You know, like, remember how you can only make a first impression once? This massively applies here, because if you do end up in that second tier of someone he can sleep with casually, then it's almost impossible to get out of that. Anytime you try and do something that's gonna make him see you more seriously, he will always think, well, if I could have sex with her without having to invest before, I can probably do it again. And we don't want to give him that message. So I really want you to understand that if you want to be serious with a guy, how important it is not to fall into that second category. And it's one that a lot of modern women are falling into without meaning to. Because listen, you don't decide whether a guy finds you attractive or not. That's not in your hands. But you do decide whether he sees you as casual or whether he sees you as his next girlfriend, maybe his first wife and the heir to his empire. Yes, that power is in your hands. And there are too many of you gorgeous women out there who you're getting the attention from the guys that you like, but you're just not closing the deal. For most of you, getting attention from the guy is fine, but keeping him around, that's the confusing part. What is the surefire way to get into that girlfriend category, that girlfriend tier, to ensure that no guy ever sees you as just fun ever again? There is a method to the madness that requires detailed attention and to keep your eyes on the prize. And I've made a video going through these exact specifics here so you know step by step what you need to do. So make sure you watch that after this. But for now, let me give you 3 easy rules to follow, at least for the first few weeks, so it's gonna put you on the right track. Rule number 1, the first time you stay over, you can do anything but sex. Sexual progression is the most effective way that keeps a guy chasing. You have to progress sexually. But if you give everything all up in one night, he's gonna ease off the chase a bit. You're gonna feel him pull back a little bit. The idea is to give him enough so he knows that he wants it, but not too much so he comes back for more. And like I said, this is just for the first few weeks. After that first few weeks, hey, you do you. Rule number 2, no Netflix and chill dates. So this means that every day, at least for the first few weeks, is a public event. It's something you do out in public. It's something, an experience that you share together outside of home. It's okay if the 3rd or 4th day, you know, you go out for dinner and then you end back at someone's house. That's absolutely fine. But it has to be that the actual date itself is outside. It keeps him investing, spending time with you, not just trying to spend time with naked you. And rule number 3, avoid talking about other guys that you might be dating. Listen, the truth is you may really like this guy, but that doesn't mean that you're not dating other guys as well. And there's nothing wrong with keeping your options open. To be honest, I actually encourage people to do this really early on so that you know exactly how you connect with people and what you want from your relationship. But you don't need to be so open in letting a guy knowing that you're doing this. Because if a guy hears that you're dating other guys, all that says to him is that you're playing the field and you're not looking for anything serious. That you're just out here to explore and have fun. And we want to keep the phrase having fun as far away as possible. And I know this isn't what it means if you say you are dating a couple of other guys, but this is what a guy hears when a woman tells him this. This isn't The Bachelor. He doesn't need to know about other guys you're interested in. If you're looking for a guy who sparks up your love life, make sure you subscribe to this wonderful tribe. And as always, keep it slick. How?